Well, hello, boys and girls. It's when I feel like it o'clock. And I'm Pearl of Wisdom. You're listening to my NHL Pearls of Wisdom. You know that. You do. Here I am from the bathroom again. And as I've said before, that the reason why I'm in the bathroom is I'm a broke ass. I'll get into someday why I'm broke right now. But there's a lot of people in the living room and everywhere, and it's the only place I get privacy. But you're going to help me out with that. How are you going to do that? You're going to hit the subscribe and the bell, and I'm going to become a YouTube sensation. That's my plan. Okay. Anyways, we know that yesterday you guys made shitloads of money, didn't you? Because I went 80-some%. I think I got 2 incorrect, and the one that I had incorrect, which I believe was the Minnesota-Ottawa game, I said, do not bet that, right? And so there you go. You only had to go around the Oilers one, and I'm sorry about that because I'm an Oilers fan. I think I went a little homer on that, and that hurts me inside to know that maybe you might have lost some money because of my homerism. But I'm going to redeem myself now, aren't I? Because we have some fine picks for today, too. When we have a long weekend or something of that nature, I have a tendency to go more towards the better coaches in games because that's when really coaches are at their most important, is when they're preparing people, preparing their teammates, preparing their players for what they're going to do on weekends such as this, getting their mindset back into the game, keeping their mind in the appropriate place while they go see their families or what have you. So, let's start. Okay, Leafs versus Wild. Okay, in this case, we have Babcock, who is a master motivator. Boudreau is as well. It's just unfortunate he's got a really shitty team. That's it. In this case, what I just said does not really apply. I say the Leafs are going to win 4-1. Dubnyk has not looked great this year either. I mean, it's really... And I think the Wild are in a back-to-back. I think they actually played yesterday. So, they beat Ottawa. That's right. That was the one game that I was... one of the games that I was incorrect about. But I also said, do not bet that game, boys and girls. Right? And you didn't, I hope. Okay. Bolts versus the Habs. Tough one. I don't know if I would touch this. First of all, the Bolts haven't come out strong so far. The Habs, Julian will have this team locked and ready to go, guarantee. In fact, I would say if it wasn't for Julian, and maybe you could say Price, but if it wasn't for Julian, this team wouldn't even be coming close to the playoffs right now. On paper, the Habs do not look good. I'm taking the Bolts 3-2 here. Give it a go. Give it a go if you want to put that on your card. I think it's likely that they win this game, but I'm just a little uneasy about it. Just a little uneasy. Yotes versus the Jets. This is one you take the under on for sure. I wouldn't bet on the game itself, but I would take the under. Maurice is a little loosey-goosey. The Jets could be, their legs might not be going at 100%. The Yotes will be prepared and ready to go. The problem is they can't score. And you have Ranta playing, I don't know, he's been out for almost a year, and he all of a sudden, he's playing lights out already. It's going to be a tough match. I think the Jets might pull 2 goals out of this, and the Yotes will have a difficult time scoring like usual, so I'm going to take the Jets 2-1. Flyers versus the Flames. Now, everything I said up until now about coaching, I can kind of throw away here. Neither coach, I think, is really going to change much in the game here. I think it has to do with the fact that the Flyers are playing Elliott in net, and I just have no confidence in the guy. I have no confidence in Elliott at all. I think the Flames are going to break out of their kind of offensive difficulties here, and they'll win about 5-1, something like that. I seriously don't really like the Flyers at all with Elliott in net. Red Wings versus the Canucks. Balsillie will have these guys absolutely on fire. They will be playing as hard as you can. They're not going to get outworked today, guaranteed. The Canucks, from what I've watched, have been being outworked almost every game, which is odd because Green is a fantastic coach. He's looked very disappointed with this team up until now. Almost every game, he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Seriously, like I'm sure he's pissed at this point, which could bring on some could bring on a tougher game for the Canucks. However, they have Danko in that, and I don't know much about him. He seems to be okay, whatever. But if I'm going to bet, I'm probably not going to bet on a goaltender that I'm just sort of iffy about. Howard's going to be in net for the Wings. I'm going to take the Wings 3-1. The Preds versus the Knights. Constantine is a fantastic coach. Not Constantine. I always forget his name. Anyways, but Gallant is a genius. Absolute genius. The Golden Knights will be ready tonight. They are. This is the thing about Gallant. I want to talk a little bit about Gallant here. He's the best coach in the league. It's not Babcock. It's not Trotz. It's not any other coach you're going to pick. Gallant is the best coach. He's like the Wayne Gretzky of coaches. The Knights get a lot of props right now. See, the reason why he's not going to get Coach of the Year this year is because he's already won so many times with his team that people are saying, "Oh, the Knights are just stacked" and stuff like that. They are. Are they stacked? Yeah, they've got deep forwards. I'll give you that. But they don't have a number one center. Carlson's not a number one center. Stastny's not a number one center. Do they have a number one defenseman? No. No, they don't. Theodore is not a number one defenseman. McNabb is not a number one defenseman for sure. This is a lineup that is definitely has good depth. And I've said all along that depth is more important than having a superstar. But having a number one center is very, very important. And having a number one defenseman is very, very important. Their lineup is above average. It's not fantastic. And Gallant gets fantastic out of them every single night, it seems. So I'm taking the Knights 4-3 here. Assuming that Fleury is in net. If Subban's in net, I probably go the other way. But I'm pretty sure Fleury will be in net. The Canes versus the Kings. I gotta go with the Kings here. I've said from the beginning of the year, I think Kings will be top 3 in the East, maybe even number 1. Brenda Moore has really impressed me. I think he's one of the finest coaches in the land. If Gallant is the best, he's up there with he's getting to the point where he's up there with Trotz and a couple of Babcock, a couple of those names I've already mentioned. The Kings, McClellan's a good coach. He's a good coach. Is he a great coach? I don't think so. I think he did well with San Jose when they didn't really have all that much for goaltending, and he did manage to get to the finals that year. I'd say that was very good. But he wasn't able to adjust with the Edmonton Oilers, who did not need a disciplinarian that's beating guys down every day because their confidence was low. And that's really what happened with him there. Now you see a guy like Dave Tippett, who is building their confidence, making them feel good, creating a better environment. By the way, another fantastic coach. Anyways, you want to know who's going to win this game? It's going to be the Canes. And I think with Mrazek and Nettie might let 3 in, but the Canes will score 5. So probably go the over, and I take the Canes to win. That's my full 42%, boys and girls. That's all I have to give. I wish I had more, but I've got naps to do, meditation to do. I'm going to Chinky's house of yoga and Pilates later, and that'll be lovely. I love you guys. Have a great day. Lots of love to you.